Growing celeriac can be a bit of the icing on the cake for gardeners. Some give up right away or after the first failure. Want to know how to grow large, healthy celeriac bulbs right in your garden? Today, I'll guide you through everything you need to know to get beautiful bulbs in the fall that you can be proud of. So let's get started. Celeriac is a crop that requires different temperature conditions at each growth stage. After planting in the second half of May, it thrives best in temperatures between 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, 59 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which support bulb growth and keep the plant stress-free. Nighttime temperature should not drop below 4 degrees Celsius, 39 degrees Fahrenheit, as cold can harm the crop's quality. During summer, when temperatures can fluctuate, it's important to monitor the weather forecast and adjust care to keep plants healthy until harvest. Celeriac is sensitive to low temperatures during seedling preparation, around planting time, and just before harvest. Temperatures below 10 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, slow down roots and bulb growth, especially during cold spring or fall nights. During spring seedling preparation and after planting, prolonged exposure to temperatures below 10 degrees Celsius, 59 degrees Fahrenheit, can cause premature flowering, known as vernalization. I'll talk more about vernalization in a bit. Low temperatures are also critical to monitor in the fall before harvest. Lower nighttime temperatures slow growth, but 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, is the critical threshold. At temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, especially during the first frosts, leaves and bulbs are prone to damage, increasing the risk of rot during storage. Celeriac should be harvested before frost arrives, typically in October. To protect against low temperatures, cover plants with white, non-woven fabric, which retains heat and shields against the cold nights. You can leave the fabric on for 1 to 2 weeks after planting until the plants fully adapt to outdoor conditions. Use it again if low temperatures are expected. Mulching beds with organic material like compost or straw also helps. A mulch layer maintains stable soil temperature and protects against fluctuations. High temperatures are less stressful for celeriac than low ones, but temperatures about 25 degrees Celsius, 77 degrees Fahrenheit, can cause bulb growth to slow down when there is a lack of water. Celeriac is nutrient demanding, and at temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit, a lack of nutrients, especially boron, combined with insufficient water, can lead to heart rot. This shows up as browning and decay in the center of bulb. During hot summer days, ensure generous watering, ideally in the morning. I cover water amounts shortly. In extreme heat, use shading nets or light non-woven fabric to protect plants from direct sun and overheating. Adding nutrients is also key. Celeriac doesn't suffer heavily from pests, but some still require attention. The celery leaf mining fly is a fly about 5 to 6 centimeters, 2 to 2.5 inches long that lays eggs on leaves. Its larvae cause damage by burrowing tunnels in the leaves, creating winding snake-like trails called mines. Later, leaves brown and dry out. This damage reduces yield and bulb quality. Leaf miners have 2 generations per year. The first hatches in May and June from overwintering pupae, and the second in August and September. Prevention and monitoring are key. Remove weeds to reduce pest hiding spots. If a leaf mining fly are a recurring issue, try growing celeriac in a different location. Use yellow sticky traps for monitoring and cover beds during flight periods. Celeriac can also be attacked by aphids. These small sap-sucking pests feed on leaf and stem sap, causing leaf deformation and yellowing. They can spread viral diseases and weaken plants. Nature-based preventive sprays work well against aphids. I cover aphids in more detail in a separate video. After planting, protect seedlings from slugs, which feed on young shoots and leaves and can damage or destroy them. Look for typical slime tails and chewed leaves. Use protective collars, traps, or barriers for defense. Mature plants are generally unaffected by normal slug populations. I discuss slugs further in a separate video. Prevention is the best defense against pests. Regularly check plants, especially young seedlings, and keep the garden tidy. Removing weeds around the beds reduces pest hiding spots. Planting companion plants like marigolds, African marigolds, or nasturtiums can help. Natural predators like ladybugs and lacewings are also assist in pest control outdoors. During growth, celeriac can be affected by several diseases. Septoria leaf spot and celery scab being the most common. Septoria leaf spot is a fungal disease causing brown to black spots with grey centers on leaves, which gradually yellow and die. It spreads in warm, humid weather, weakening plants and limiting bulb growth. Protection involves removing affected leaves and using appropriate fungicides. Celery scab caused by fungi appears as dark, irregular spots on leaf stems or bulbs. Affected bulbs may be deformed or rot during storage. It spreads in cool, wet conditions. Protection includes removing affected plant parts and applying suitable fungicides. Prevention is the most effective way to combat diseases. Proper watering and plant care are crucial, which I'll cover shortly. Maintain proper spacing during planting. Regularly inspect plants. Keep beds tidy by weeding. Promptly remove affected plants and clear plant debris after harvest or pruning. We grow celeriac for its bulbs, which we ideally want as large as possible. But sometimes the opposite happens, and growing it can be disappointing. When you consider that celeriac takes up garden space for about 3/4 of the year and requires regrowing, it's understandable why some people don't bother or give up. But when it works out, the aroma and freshness of homegrown celeriac are amazing, not to mention the personal victory of succeeding. I'll admit I've been frustrated with it myself and nearly quit. Let's look at how the bulb forms and what's key to making it grow. Celeriac is a biennial plant. Leaves and bulbs form in the first year. The bulb develops gradually as a swollen stem part above the roots, just above the soil. The bulbs must stay exposed to air and not be covered with soil, compost, or other mulch. It's totally opposite to the potato tubers. If growing celeriac for its bulbs, harvest it at the end of the first year just before frost. In the second year, celeriac produces small white flowers pollinated by insects, mainly bees, or partially self-pollinates. These flowers develop into small seeds that can be collected for future planting, which is useful for those who want their own seeds. Sometimes, instead of a bulb, you find only thin roots or flowering stem. The most common cause is premature flowering or vernalization. This happens when plants experience cold periods below 10 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, for 10 to 14 days during pre-growing or after planting in May. The cold tricks the plant into thinking it has overwintered, leading it to produce flowers instead of a bulb, ruining the harvest. Another reason for small or absent bulb is the lack of water or nutrients, especially boron and calcium. Without regular watering, especially in hot summer months, the plant suffers from drought, resulting in small or woody bulbs or none at all. Improper planting, where the plant's heart is covered with soil also causes deformities or stunt bulb growth. Celeriac loves water, and proper watering is key to large bulbs. Celeriac needs regular, generous watering to ensure even bulb growth and prevent cracking. Water directly at the roots, ideally early in the morning or evening when it's cooler to minimize evaporation and keep leaves dry, reducing the risk of fungal diseases. Celeriac generally requires 10 to 15 liters, 3 to 4 gallons of water per plant per week, depending on weather and soil type. After planting, when plants are rooting, water twice a week with about 2 to 3 liters, 1 gallon per plant to keep soil moist but not waterlogged. During growth in June and July, when leaves form, increase to 3 to 5 liters, 1.5 gallons per plant 3 times a week, especially on hot days. From August to October, when the root grows most, when the bulb grows most, it needs the most water, 5 to 7 liters, 2 gallons per plant 3 times a week, to keep the bulb juicy and prevent cracking. Water deficiency shows up quickly in celeriac. Leaves start to wilt, yellow or curl, and bulb growth slows. This can lead to woody or cracked bulbs. If the soil feels dry more than 2 centimeters, 1 inch below the surface, it's time to water, as celeriac needs consistent moisture to avoid stress. I've been growing celeriac for several years. It was tough at first, but it's getting better each year. For watering, consistency and quantity are crucial. A trick that works for me is creating a shallow soil basin around each plant by scraping soil away from the root. When watering directly at the roots, the water collects in this basin, ensuring the bulb gets more water and the soil stays moist longer. The quality and size of celeriac bulbs are also influenced by proper growing methods. The main intervention during growth is removing leaves to focus on large bulbs. From July to September, regularly check plants and carefully cut or pull off old, yellowing or damaged leaf just above the plant's heart with a clean knife or by hand. This helps the plant direct energy to bulb growth and improves airflow, reducing disease risk. Mulching the soil around celeriac is one of the most effective ways to simplify, care and support healthy growth. A sufficient mulch layer keeps soil moist, protects against temperature swings, and reduces weed growth. I recommend a 5 to 10 centimeters, 2 to 4 inches layer of compost, which also naturally enriches the soil. Straw, hay, or other organic material works too. Be careful not to cover the root when adding mulch. Celeriac is nutrient hungry, and sufficient nutrients ensure high-quality, large bulbs. Which fertilizer to use, when and how to spot deficiency? Preparing the bed in April or early May is the first step to strong bulbs. Enrich the soil with organic fertilizer like well-rotted compost or manure to improve structure and provide essential nutrients. The optimal soil pH for celeriac is 6 to 7, ideally around 6.5. If pH is too below 6, it can lead to calcium or boron deficiencies, increasing the risk of heart rot. I recommend adding a 5 to 10 centimeters, 2 to 4 inch layer of mature compost to the bed. If the soil is nutrient poor, add granulated fertilizer with a balanced NPK ratio of 10-10-10. You can prepare the bed differently, but consider your preparation method when deciding how to fertilize during the season. If the bed is well prepared, fertilizing at planting isn't necessary. For poorer soils, add balanced fertilizer with nitrogen and phosphorus like NPK 10-10-10 or organic options like granulated manure or compost. Avoid fertilizing if planting in a substrate that already contains fertilizer. I don't fertilize at planting, relying on the compost from bed preparation. Once plants root in June and start forming leaves, they need another nutrient boost for growth. This first fertilization supports leaf growth and increases plant vitality and resilience. Use fertilizer with higher nitrogen content like NPK 15-5-5, such as compost, nettle slurry, granulated manure, poultry manure, or commercial nitrogen fertilizers. I don't fertilize at this stage as I use a non-dig method, and the compost from bed preparation provides enough nutrients. From August to September, when the bulb grows rapidly, nutrients are crucial for size and quality. Use fertilizer high in potassium and boron, applied monthly per instructions to prevent heart rot. Regular fertilization at this stage is vital for large quality bulbs. Celeriac quickly shows nutrient deficiencies. Boron deficiency causes hair rot with the bulb center browning and dying. Nitrogen deficiency leads to yellowing leaves and weak growth. Low calcium or potassium result in smaller, cracking bulbs noticeable during uneven growth. Regular fertilization and soil monitoring help prevent these issues. Here are my tips for growing large celeriac bulbs. Keep the seedlings hard above the soil during planting. Plant celeriac only after the last frost. Protect it from low temperatures and vernalization after planting. Water celeriac regularly and generously. Fertilize adequately with mineral fertilizer containing boron. Mulch the soil. Remove outer leaves. Keep the soil around the bulb low. Monitor the weather before harvest and pick before frost arrives. Hi, I'm Marketa from Hendilio and I've been gardening for over 13 years. I share my experience in every video which Petr and I carefully prepare for you. With us, you'll grow your harvest effortlessly and without chemicals. No more trial and error, give it a try. Now we know how to grow great and big celeriac bulbs and care for them properly. In August, it's also important to ensure proper care for your peppers. Find out what not to miss in the next video, so go check it out.
Is that the chocolate one?
Yes, sweet chocolate.